What would you do? Pass it? Be a team player? Allowing your and your team's fate to be in the hand of another because it seems like the surefire option? Or would you grasp fate by the reins, shouldering the weight that it brings, and take the shot yourself? Sports, when boiled down to its most basic aspect, is one winner, one loser. One becoming the champion, and the other fading into obscurity. But what if instead of fighting with the team, you fought for yourself, going back to the root of sports? So, will you win, or will you be forgotten? Welcome to Blue Lock. The Japanese national team has one glaring issue: a lack of a true striker, which honestly doesn't come as much a surprise, because Japan as a nation and culture are the complete opposite of what the heart of a striker is. Japan is a society that is about being guided and having specific roles that function within a squad to help the overall group, where as a striker, you're the star that shines out over everyone else. So, in anime fashion, the Japanese Football Federation has taken some of the country's most promising talents and put them into a last man standing assessment, with our main character Isagi as one of those chosen. You would think that this is something similar to a trial, where if you're good enough, you advance, and if not, well, there's always next time. Nope. Those who have entered into Blue Lock's icy and deadly halls have chained themselves to one of two outcomes. One, either become the best striker out of everyone else and achieve a spot on the national team, or you lose and never be selected to play for the pride and glory of your country. Blue Lock does an amazing job in showing that just because you are the best in the room doesn't mean you are the most talented, as in the first assessment test, as Isagi and his group of 12 others, they're faced with a game of football tag. Basically, you touch or get hit by the football, you're it, kinda like the thundercloud in Mario Kart. And if you are left with the ball at the end of the timer, your time in Blue Lock is finished. The first person to be selected was the lowest ranked player in the room, who in a desperate attempt guns for eliminating Isagi, who is ranked second lowest, and is a quote-unquote easy target. Despite his best efforts, Isagi is eventually hit with the ball, and desperately tries to hit someone else, while he slowly begins to see his dreams slipping away, with each passing tick of the timer marching down to zero. In the final few moments, Isagi eventually has an opportunity to take out the weakest guy, and secure his spot in Blue Lock. But he realizes, what's the point? Yeah, you survive, but you aren't going to beat everyone else to the summit if you're too busy kicking down those behind you, and you gain nothing by playing it safe. So instead, Isagi decides to climb over someone in front of him, and he decides to go for the king of the room. And with the timer coming down to the end of its march, Isagi successfully rips the crown from the king's head in the final moments. And just like that, someone's dream in Blue Lock is over. And after this game of tag, the remaining 11 are put through a physical assessment test, and Isagi is blown out of the water in almost every physical aspect by a teammate, showcasing their individual strengths. And for the next part of the season, the remaining 11 play as a team in a tournament style against 5 other groups in order to determine their status in Blue Lock. The boys suffer defeats, they learn how to improve individually and how to come back stronger to win the next matches in order to keep their dreams alive. And during this time, we really start to get connected with these characters, seeing how they think and act on and off the pitch. And I really enjoyed how they did not just stick to the same plan over and over again throughout the tournament, but instead, they showcased the mental side of soccer, analyzing the game and seeing what can and needs to be improved in order to secure victory, with almost everyone on the team being given a moment to shine. And athletes can understand this. We all love those moments when we defeat other teams and have those times where you are the center of attention, whether it be a fantastic kill down the line, stealing a home run, or in this case, being the person who puts the ball in the back of the net and having everyone cheering on your moment of brilliance. Blue Lock is there to build one thing, which honestly is needed for top strikers, and I know this firsthand. I once played soccer for an academy abroad, and my dream was just like those in Blue Lock, to become a professional football player, more specifically, a striker. Day in, day out, I was playing and training much like how the characters live, learning all these new tactics and being pushed to surpass your limits. but I lacked what was needed in order to succeed. There are times throughout Blue Lock where Isagi is knocked down, whether it be physically in his lack of skill or mentally in the barriers he needs to overcome. And the biggest barrier that I couldn't break past, that Isagi did, was building an ego. And what exactly does it mean having ego as a striker? Well, it comes back to the question I asked at the beginning. Do you pass it, or do you shoot it? Throughout Blue Lock and professional football, we see these confident players who, when given the chance to change the game with a goal, take it. And if it doesn't come to them by chance, they go out and create it. An egoist striker doesn't flinch at the sight of goal. He senses the pressure, and he grins as he puts his laces through his shots. And I didn't have that. I was the person to let my fate rest in others' hands and pass it. So if I was in Blue Lock, I would have been sent home packing. And an ego is exactly what Isagi needed in the next series of assessments. Because after the team selection is done, our squad of 11 is broken apart, and Isagi is then left to fend for himself, with the assessment asking the players, will you evolve to survive, or stay the same and lose it all? It is revealed that the next stage is to build a team of 5 players in order to advance from that selection. But in order to build that team, you start off as a squad of 3, and defeating your opponents to steal away a player to join your roster until you have your squad of 5. In doing so, he enters in a match against the top 3, with Bachira and Nagi at his side. And after a hopeful first goal from Isagi's team, they are then just washed away by the sheer gap in skill from the top 3. And the result of losing your match is dropping down. So, for instance, if you lose your opening 3v3, you're down to 2 players. And if you lose your 2v2 and you're not selected to join the winner's team, your time in Blue Lock is over. And I really did enjoy seeing our boys lose, and not in some sadistic way enjoying the downfall of others, but instead I wanted to see what they would do in said situation, revisiting their playing style and what aspects they need to improve on individually and how to make a squad capable of going toe-to-toe with Rin's. And this thought is at the forefront of Isagi's mind, because he decides to challenge the strongest pair of players remaining in their pool, and after a match that pushes all 4 players to their limit, with the key factor that decided the victor was who was willing to change, with Isagi being the one who understood that and successfully adds Kingu to their squad, ending another player's dream. The next match is sprinkled with the same philosophy of improvement and who will answer its call, with Isagi's team securing the win, and is faced with a choice of who to pick between 2 former teammates, the speed demon Chigiri or the long-range sniper Kunigami. In the end, Isagi picks the evolved Chigiri, sending Kunigami back down to the Coliseum to fight for his spot in Blue Lock. Now was the time of the final hurdle for Isagi and his team, defeating Rin. And this match was intense. It was a constant back and forth of scoring and seeing the mental games between Isagi and Rin, each trying to predict the game before the other. And with the clock winding down to its final moments and the game tied at 4, Bachira makes an absolute tear towards goal. And when it seems like the game would be finished right there, Isagi comes out of nowhere and blocks the shot, seeming as if he has given his team a breath of hope. But it all quickly fades away in a stroke of bad luck, as the ball falls perfectly to Rin, who sinks a dagger into Isagi's team, ending the match with the final goal. But Isagi wasn't given much time to dwell on the loss, as Rin stripped him from his teammates and has Isagi join their squad to complete their 5. They wait in a room to see the other squads that were formed in advance, with us seeing familiar faces like Nagi, Chigiri, Kingu, and most surprisingly, the lowest ranked player in the room leading a squad of his own, proving again that number does not equal talent. But as more and more people came in, Isagi was looking around, hopefully for Kunigami. But as the last team is revealed, his heart sank, as he was nowhere to be seen. And the statement of, "Some dreams just aren't meant to come true," rang at its absolute loudest. The terms of Blue Lock are stated: if you fail, your opportunity with the Japanese selection is gone. And it's a concept that hasn't been explored much in the series, but it's a cruel reality that many athletes face. Whether by injury, missed opportunity, or just plainly not being good enough. Leaving a lot of players who once had dreams of reaching the top with, what do I do now? Spending basically all of their lives training and working towards one goal and missing the mark. To some, their whole world crumbles around, and it's hard for them to accept when it was so close. And it's so heartbreaking, as we've seen so many players fall into this. But others, they find a way to pursue something new, like Gordon Ramsay, Jose Mourinho, and what I think is the best shown version in anime or manga is the final volume of Haikyuu. Obviously, spoilers for it. But of our Karasuno team, only Hinata, Kagayama, and Glasses make it pro. Yeah, of their 12-man squad, only 3. Remember, Karasuno is not just some low-tier team like they were at the beginning of the series. They are a team of giant slayers. And if we use the Blue Lock mentality on the rest of Karasuno's team, you would say they failed and their dream is crushed, right? Well, here's the thing. Can someone only ever have one dream? We see all of the guys' teammates living fulfilled lives, starting a business, becoming a police officer, making time to hang out with friends. Or if you're the libero, finding a sugar mama and becoming a house husband helping to raise your kids, which honestly doesn't sound half bad. The thing with sports is, a lot of people want to become a professional, and cruelly, only the top 0.1% achieve that dream. But the thing about dreams are, a new one can come overnight. So, what dream are you going to be running towards when you open your eyes?